You're still watching Ways. Now, September 30th is the International Translation Day. It's the occasion to celebrate the honorable profession of translators, without which international relations and cooperations would not be as smooth. Multilingualism brings people from all around the world together, building a bridge to learn from one another, ultimately contributing to global peace. Now, September 30th, was chosen in honor of Saint Jerome, the man who translated the Bible from Greek into Latin during the 4th century. So happy International Translation Day. I've always wanted to be multilingual. I'm trying. It's not entering, sometimes it enter. But I'm pushing and I'm encouraging my sons, because I know they have it inside of them, especially my oldest son. He has the capacity to learn multiple languages. Yes. Yeah. So I am, since I picked that from him, I'm consistently encouraging him, giving him the right materials and tools. So now he speaks good French. He's good with Spanish to some extent. Then we want to introduce Mandarin, and German. So those are the 4 languages that we're hoping that he'll be strong.
Yes. Tough ones.
He'll be strong in.
If you have an ear for language, then yeah, you should. It's like
don't limit yourself.
It's a what's the word now? Would I say it's a talent or a gift? Just
yes,
people can draw in that. So some people only have to immerse themselves in it for a very short period of time, and then they soak it in and they can absorb it. I am not one of such people. The ones I learned
barely managed to.
I learned them from childhood. I came up with them, and that's about it. I don't think. I think with the European languages, so French, Spanish. They tend to have, German is a bit of on its own. Yeah. But, the French and the Spanish, Italian, they have similarities. So once you can pick up one, then you kind of sort of, can move into the others. But everybody, at least, where I want to take this from is our local lingua. Our dialects. People need to make sure that their children can speak their languages. We're losing out. A lot of cultures are losing out on their languages, and their children are growing up just speaking English. So it's something that we need to be mindful about here.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, Uti. I'm trying hard to work with my kids to speak the language. I'm speaking. I know at some point in my house, my dad banned the English language and said everyone must speak our local language. And that was how we all picked up. So even if you knew how you could understand the language initially, at some point you were now required to speak, right? So I'm trying to do that with my kids now, at least.
Well, how will it
First
work?
of all, for
you
them to understand.
Igbo, your husband is Akwa Ibom.
Well,
so which language would they? No, you don't get it. It's tougher when it's two different, like your.
It's tough when both
the culture,
are actually the same language. It's even tougher when they're both. But
you must be deliberate.
Exactly.
You must be deliberate, and the interest must be there for the kids as well. You have to create that environment for them to be able to pick it. Because I have some friends in Canada, and every time we interface, it's so interesting to see the young ones, the little ones as young as 8, and they're saying, "Oh, mommy, Ifa now for more for." It's so interesting because they switch. You have the accent, and then they switch.
Nigerians that live abroad, they appreciate our language more than Nigerians that live within Nigeria.
Well, of course.
Yeah, so
I think it's about the tribe, not.
And I think it's again the people.
Yes, because the Yorubas, whenever they find themselves abroad,
they must
speak the language.
You must speak.
But for people from Edo State or Benin or
there's one of my husband's
friends, they do not appreciate the language. They just stick to the English language.
The smaller tribes, typically, like for me with the Shakiri people, we've adopted Pidgin. So Shakiri is a fast-dying language. I mean, it's bad enough, first of all, that we are intermarrying so much that Shakiri, the numbers are dwindling. But just to come back to what Noma was saying about teaching their children about languages, when you were talking about different parents, I have a friend who speaks 5 languages. And her father is Italian. Her mother is Spanish. Then her, what's it called?
Cousin.
She was born in Germany.
Oh, wow.
On the border with France.
Okay.
And so this is how it happened for her.
No, she's going to pick
all of her mother would only speak Spanish to her. She said she would be crying and nobody would translate, so she was forced to learn.
To listen.
So her mother would only speak Spanish to her.
Her
Her father would only speak Italian. She learned German because she was born in Germany. But because she was in a border town, her best friend only spoke French. So how they even became friends, I don't know. So she learned French there. Then she went to British International School. So she learned English.
Wow.
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 That's a beautiful.
That's powerful.
You know?
But you see, that's the power of the mind. So I think it's important that if we can, let's encourage our children. I mean, I have one of my husband's friends. If you see the children speaking Fulfulde, that's Fulani.
Oh yeah, the Fulani. It's another beautiful
language. And guess what? They're all in
Fulfulde.
Lagos here. They speak it so fluently. So my children are always hounding us. We don't know how to speak Hausa. We don't know how to speak this. We don't know how to speak. I said, God will help us.
But you should teach them Hausa. At least you speak that.
Or Edo,
Tis well. Isi, what did you find for us in the news?
Oh, so
we're just
quickly?
talking our time.
Okay, in the news, what I found was, we take certain things for granted in Nigeria. We look at our teachers and we think that they're actually doing what they're supposed to do when we are not actually paying attention to what the teachers are doing. Now, in this context, I'm looking at the story, the serial child rapist refused bail in Niger State. And the serial rapist is actually a teacher, a male teacher in Niger State. And the Menasino, what's it called? Magistrate Court 5 has reprimanded or remanded a serial rapist, Usman Galadima, over the sexual assault of 14 pupils of his primary school in Niger State. So it's not just one, and these children are between the ages of 8 and 10 in one school.
Well, I like what the court is doing.
That is not only the problem now. The problem is that this young man was tested HIV positive.
Oh my goodness.
So he now, you know what the rest is history. So he was
Transmitted the disease.
he was given exactly. It was like a wicked act on its own. So we need to also educate the male children, or the male child and the female child, to be able to understand that it's not everybody who happens to be your elder that you give access to
because he's your teacher,
or because he's your teacher, you give access to your body.
Sad.
Sad. Yes.
Okay, so mine is a sad follow-up. The headline reads, "Our father had Civil War bullet in his skull," says grieving children of Dr. Chike Akunyili. Of course, the husband of the late minister, Professor Dora Akunyili, who was sadly gunned down. I believe they are claiming it was mistakenly. Who was killed. This was a tribute that was given by his children. And for me, this story is so sad, because here's a man who fought in the Civil War, survived 3 years of war.
Survived the bullet in his skull.
From 67 to 70, survived with the bullet, survived all this time from 1970 to this point, in that time being a doctor, saving countless lives, only to be gunned down and have his life cut short in such an unnecessary loss of life. This is a family that, his wife did phenomenal things in Nigeria. I remember hearing about NAFDAC and all the changes, and I wanted to know who she was. So to have this happen so needlessly is so sad. If you even think about what we're going through with doctors and not having enough, to lose one is bad enough, and any life is bad enough, but this is even so much worse.
From his,
the memorial for his late wife. So it just is such a sad story, and it speaks to the level of insecurity that we have. I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about that, but I remember asking someone the other day, I said, where are the Obikubanas of the world? They are from Anambra. What's your money doing in your state? I don't know. Can we not do something about security? It baffles the mind, but sad.
It is what it is.
No, my own follow-up on that.
Yeah, the follow-up story is that Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State has placed a 20 million bounty on the killers of Dr. Chike Akunyili and 9 others within the state. The governor announced this during his statewide broadcast after the harvest killings in the state by gunmen, unknown gunmen. And basically, reading this story, they were saying, oh, we're going to give 20 million. And I'm thinking, what the so if you're who is going to come forward to say, oh, I know who did this, and the police in the state, what exactly is going on? If people are consistently gone down, it means that the
bounties
state
have always worked.
No, they've worked.
No,
they've worked in certain cases, right? But I mean, it just brings to the fore the dire state of Anambra State. If things are getting this bad, a number of people think that they are now in control and they can do what they want to do in the state, then there's a security breach, serious security breach in that state, and is a cause of concern generally. We have families that live down in Anambra State. They are not safe at this point. If a whole Dr. Chike Akunyili could be gone down in his state, I don't know.
Okay, so I have a story that I found very interesting. I thought to mention. So the former French president, Nicolas Sarkozy, was on Thursday sentenced to a year in jail after being found guilty of illegally financing his 2012 re-election. He was accused of having spent about 22.5 million euros, almost twice the maximum legal amount for his re-election. But he went on to lose, of course, to
Macron.
Yes, yeah, Holland, yeah, you know. So, but he denied it, you know, and said that it was not yet that he was going to appeal, you know. But I'm very happy about this conversation, because I remember when we had, I think it was Kunle Lawal, and we've had several people that talk about politics. Even what's his name, Dele Farotimi, that they talk about, you know, that even within Nigeria we have laws when it comes to elections and spending, because that's why when you make it too expensive, people will not be able, price people out of it. So if we begin to get these kinds of prosecution within our shores, I'm sure things would probably change, and we can also get, where it would never happen, but I'm happy that it's happening somewhere. Well, and it's just for us to understand that these things are there. The laws are there, Uti.
The laws
it's just that nobody has implemented it.
As with everything in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But at least it's a good move.
You know, so he's going to spend one year in jail for this. You know, and they said he was warned, you know, but he didn't listen.
What kind of jail is it?
No, I think so. It's a 6-month suspended sentence.
Yes, no, they gave it. Yes, and a fine of about 3,750 euros that he needs to pay. But bottom line is that.
Well, I mean, it's in the grand scheme of crimes.
It's something.
Yeah,
but
so
at least something happens.
It's just a reminder that you must accountability at some point.
But you know what I love the most? The thing that most validates this for me is that he still lost.
Yes,
after everything.
After spending
so much.
So at least you know that to a certain extent,
it's not about the money.
Over there, money can't buy you an election.
Not here.
Here, money buys you everything. Whole kit and caboodle.
We will get there.
We'll get there.
Hopefully.
All right, so tonight we're talking. What are we talking again?
Open
marriage / relationships. We'll be right back.